The Portrait of the Lady by Kushwant Singh. Questions and answers. Answer the following question. What does Singh say about the beauty of his grandmother? What kind of beauty was hers? Answer. The author says that his grandmother is an old woman with wrinkled face, and he has always seen her like this for the past 20 years. So, he is not able to imagine her being young and pretty who had a husband. He has seen her always old, always old. She's a short, fat, and slightly bent person. Why did the grandmother accompany Kushwant Singh to school? Answer. The grandmother accompanied Kushwant Singh to school because the school was attached to the temple where she used to count the beads of her rosary for prayers. Also, she had the routine of reading the scriptures. And on the way back home, while coming, his grandmother used to feed the stray dogs with the stale chapatis. What was the turning point in the relationship of the grandmother and the grandson? Answer. The parents of the author who went to the city to settle in and called them. As the author and the grandmother reached the city, his relationship with his grandmother took a turn. The bond grew apart even when they shared the same room. He started going to an English medium school, and when the grandmother asked him about his day in the school and what he had learned in the school, she didn't understand anything because everything was in different language which she couldn't understand. Also, she was unhappy that the teaching was not about the God and the prayer. She didn't approve of any syllabus that he was studying because she thought the school didn't teach about the God and the scriptures. They both saw less of each other. So, when they both were taken to the city, their relationship took a turn. Who were the grandmother's friends in the absence of the writer? The friends of the grandmother during the absence of the writer or the author were the spinning wheel, the sparrows used to sit on her legs, on her head, and on her shoulders, whom she used to feed with bread pieces in the veranda at dawn. Then she recited prayers daily. All these became her routine. Who took the narrator to the station when he was leaving to go abroad for his higher studies, and who received him? Answer. It is clearly understood that the author was taken to the railway station by by his parents, and it is clearly mentioned that his grandmother was also accompanied. Uh, Also, she accompanied him to his surprise. While returning back, Grandma was also among the one who came to receive him along with his parents. What kind of reaction did the grandmother have when the narrator returned home? Answer. After 5 years, as he returned home, she was there to receive him at the railway station. She comforted him and chanted the prayers and was still the same as she had been 5 years ago. She clasped him within her arms and did not say a word. She still used to feed her sparrows. Later in the same evening, the family members saw a sudden change in her behavior. She didn't recite her prayers. Instead, collected all the women of the neighborhood, got a drum, and started singing the homecoming of the warriors. What kind of attitude towards the prayer did the grandmother have? The attitude towards the prayer that the grandmother had was that the teaching was not about the prayer and the God. She didn't approve of any syllabus that the author was studying because she thought that they did not teach him about the God and the scriptures. What does the story show of the grandmother's relationship towards the dogs and the sparrows? The dogs and the sparrows were very much attached to the grandmother. The dogs were used to the grandmother's pieces of chapatis, and the dogs had a kind of bond with the grandmother. As far as the sparrows are concerned, when the family prepared for her funeral, they saw all the sparrows sitting in the veranda around the corpse to mourn for her death. Then, when they carried the corpse to the cremation ground, all the sparrows flew away quietly. Thank you.